good. I think it's still a shame that the leading conservative websites that I follow very closely continue to play in the manufactured space. And I think of, in my mind, one of the first that pops in my head is Andrew Breitbart, and he's got a series of websites, one of them Big Government, and of course was responsible for, I think, smearing intentionally Shirley Sharada, an employee at the Department of Agriculture. And it was only after, we discovered the full video and explained the context of it that we saw the damage that was done to an employee, and again showed the power of what I was talking about, of the right, what you're dealing with. I think there should be an effort, there could be an effort by conservatives, journalists, by progressive journalists to actually uncover incompetencies within government that may ultimately be scandals. I'm not dissuading people from that. If I were, let's say, picking one, this may get me into trouble, but if I were picking one, I think one of the areas that I thought was particularly relevant was the Keystone controversy and the pipeline that was going to be authorized. For a while, we were under the assumption that the State Department was going to authorize it, and we know that there were people who were lobbying the State Department who had been high-level contributors and members of the Hillary Clinton campaign, and that there was a concern there of a conflict of interest. And President Obama, again, did the right thing. He punted on it, said, we're not going to make a decision on this. I have some concerns. There's been a growing movement, and we moved the decision on such a thing to after the election. And so I thought that was a move where people who were looking for a story could have found a story, but there isn't the kind of digging for policy in the media that Jonathan was suggesting that could have uncovered some
on the Shirley Sherrod business, Tom Vilsack threw her over the cliff very quickly, too quickly. He's admitted error on it, but you have to ask, why? Why was he responding so fast before they realized that that what she said in that speech was fine? One explanation was that the NAACP had thought that what she said was wrong. She was speaking to an NAACP event, and they had jumped the gun.
Well, they all jumped the gun because Andrew Breitbart had presented the story as they understood it.
No, the deeper reason they jumped the gun is because they are so scandal averse, they're so interested in not giving anything a chance to inflame, that they want to get it out of the news cycle as quickly as possible. And so they have been willing to throw people under the bus in the larger interests of not having
That's right.
scandal.
I mean, to add to Jonathan's point, Van Jones was clearly one of those, a member of the White House. There was a Luis Caldera who was also in the White House. Just recently we saw the FAA director get canned for drunken driving. You're saying some are merit-based, but some are also merit-less.
So the one I mentioned with the lean, for instance, and there have been a few others where maybe they would have turned out to have done something that was really problematic. Mm-hmm. The administration didn't want to wait to find out whether they shot first and asked questions later.